got it, number 3. We're going to do the same thing, practice the same steps, you have the same formula. But this time your diameter is 1 kilometer. So first thing we need to do is take 1 kilometer, multiply it by 1,000 to get 1,000 meters. Now we'll plug it into our formula. We have D equals 2 times the cube root of the volume divided by 0.3. Plug in 1,000. 1,000 equals 2 times the cube root of V divided by 0.3. Divide each side by 2. So you get up and over. Dividing by 2. You get 500 equals cube root of V over 0.3. Now you need to cube both sides. To cube both sides, you get 1, 2, 5 with 6 zeros. And that equals V over 0.3. And then you need to multiply by 0.3. And you'll get 375 with 5 zeros. And remember, this is in cubic meters for volume. So there you have the volume of the crater. In the next set of directions, you're going to have a radical with a variable and a variable outside. Okay, so there's a variable inside and there's a variable outside. When you come to your homework, make sure you read these and see what one it matches. Problem 4, what is the solution? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 5. So I need to isolate my square root. All the time, you need to isolate your square root. So you get the square root of x plus 7 equals x plus 5. Move your 5 over. Notice it says to check your results. Okay, step 2. I'm going to square both sides. Okay, so to get rid of the square root, you have to square both sides, and that is to get rid of your square root. So when I square this side, it's just going to become x plus 7. Be careful when you square this side, because you're going to have to FOIL. Step 3. Alright, let's go ahead and multiply. So I'm going to get x plus 7 equals x plus 5 times x plus 5. Alright, that's going to give me x plus 7 equals x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. It's going to give me x plus 7 equals x squared plus 10x plus 25. And then what I need to do is, just when you see Miss Miles next year, you'll tell her this. You'll say anytime there's an x squared, you're going to remember to set it equal to 0. Okay, so that means I'm going to move x plus 7 to the right. Okay, move x plus 7 to the right. So I'm going to do a minus x, I'm going to do a minus 7. So I'm going to do a minus x, I'm going to do a minus 7. That's going to give me 0 equals x squared. 10x minus x is 9x. 25 minus 7 is 18. Okay, now you're going to have to solve. Factor if you can. You can either factor or use the quadratic formula. This one does factor to x plus 3 and x plus 6. If it didn't factor, you'd have to use your quadratic formula. Set each one equal to 0. And you get x equals negative 3 and x equals negative 6. The worst part about all of these here is that these ones need checked. So when you see something with a variable inside and a variable outside, you need to make sure that they plug back in. So I have to do a quick check. Okay, here's my check. I go back to the original way up here. And I have to take the square root of, let's plug in -3 first. -3 plus 7 minus 5. Okay, well that's going to be the square root of 4 minus 5, and that's going to equal -1. Well, it's supposed to equal x, and in this case it's supposed to equal -3. So let's see, what would we get? Well, it would be 2 minus, square root of 4 is 2. So that would be 2 minus 5, and we get out a -3. Did we get out what we should have? The answer is yes. X does equal a -3. Let's check the -6. Take the square root of -6 plus 7 minus 5, and let's see what that equals. That's the square root of 1 minus 5. Well, the square root of 1 is 1, minus 5 is -4. Does that equal x, or x of -6? No. -6 does not work. The next thing you're going to learn is how to do all of this on your calculator and to see when two things might be equal. So we're going to do this problem above, but I'm going to show you how to do it on your TI-83 or TI-84. Okay. So turn your calculator on and go to y equals. Clear out anything you have in there. We are going to put the left side of the equals on the y1 and the right side of the equals on the y2. So here we're going to do the square root of x plus 7, and then you have to go outside your square root, minus 5. I think you guys have to hit the right button. Yours might look a little different than mine. And the next equation is just x. So I put the left side on y1 and I put the right side on y2. Hit zoom 6 so you can see what the graph looks like. Can you see this point right here where it crosses? That point where it crosses is -3. It is our solution that we already found. But I want to show you how to use your graphing calculator so you can double check. You hit second, calculate. And we want to see where the two lines intersect, so you hit 5. It is blinking on the first curve, which means it's blinking on the first y equals. Hit enter. Now it's blinking on the second y equals, right there. Hit enter. Now it wants you to take a guess. So just scroll over a little bit until you're about where it crosses and hit enter. You see how your intersection is -3 and it equals -3? That should always happen. Your answer is -3 where they meet. It won't always necessarily equal -3 over here though, but it will always equal a -3 for your x, and your x is what you're concerned about. What does x equal? Okay, so what they're saying about why it's not -6, okay, put a circle around this down here on the graph and say x equals -3. It did not cross at -6, so x can only equal -3. And that's also another reason it cannot equal -6. Okay, let's try this one more time. We're going to check our results. We can check them with a graphing calculator, and we can also check them by plugging it in. There's something in my paper. Okay. Step 1, subtract 3. That gives us the square root of 5x minus 1 equals x minus 3. Now we have to get rid of our square root. To get rid of the square root, we have to square both sides. By squaring this side, we just get 5x minus 1. But squaring this side, we're going to have to FOIL it. So step 3 is to multiply it through. So we get 5x minus 1 equals x minus 3, x minus 3. Okay, that's 5x minus 1 equals x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. That's 5x minus 1 equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. Now you see how you have an x squared? That's going to be your step 4, set equal to 0. So I'm going to move over 5x minus 1 by doing minus 5x and plus 1, minus 5x and plus 1. And that's going to give me 0 equals x squared minus 11x plus 10. Try to factor this. Okay, so factor if you can. That's going to be 0 equals x minus 1, x minus 10. And the last thing you need to do is solve. So you get x minus 1 equals 0 and x minus 10 equals 0. X equals 1, x equals 10. Now you need to do your check. Let's check 1. The square root of 5 times 1 minus 1 plus 3 is the square root of 4 plus 3. The square root of 4 is 2 plus 3, and we need that to equal, it says up here, we need it to equal the x that we had. So does 2 plus 3 equal the x that we have? No. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Therefore 1 is not a solution. Check 10. The square root of 5 times 10 minus 1 plus 3. That's the square root of 49 plus 3. That's 7 plus 3. We need to equal the x that we got. Does 7 plus 3 equal the x that we had? Yes. X does equal 10. You could put it in your graphing calculator to prove it. I'm going to do the more difficult problem on one more video.